Oh
like,
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I can follow it, but like, it's not. What's funny is when you see conversations as if people are having a conversation. It's a fresh conversation. You know what I mean? And it's like you and people. I see people on Facebook pages going, "Oh, I've come up with a new way of rolling a character," and you think, "No, you fucking haven't, have you?" There's only so many ways you can come up with those stats, and who
There's
cares?
nothing
Like,
new under the sun.
well, not really. It's just. And then you got 2 steps away from that, someone's arguing about the merits of Thaco, which nobody liked. Bollocks. Anyway,
Uh,
it's just good to get a game going. Anyway.
got one more question
sure.
regarding Dragon Carcass and Silver Tungsten. Now, do those bonus? So, if I put dragon bits on a bow, does that grant an armor class bonus?
Yeah.
So you could double down on that.
What do you mean?
Dragon bits on your weapon and dragon bits on your armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just losing your +2 attack rolls with your weapon.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
I mean, if you want to have a, like a normal sword that, has some extra damage added to it, and then it gives you AC instead of attack, like, by all means, go ahead.
Alright.
Okay.
So the only. Okay.
Does that make sense? Do you have a question?
No.
Are you sure?
I will have a question. Yeah. How much are these going to cost? By the way, how are we actually going to work? Are we going to try and source the materials and then?
I mean, that's kind of up to you. That's also why I added this other tab for artisans. If you have an artisan employ and you have the materials, then it's not going to cost you anything except for however you acquired the materials.
Right. Okay.
If you don't have them on tap and you go to some rando and who's a good alchemist and say, "Hey, can you make this for me?" then they're going to charge you. But if you buy out Gearfried's contract, he works for you. So he does the work that you want him to do.
Well, all of this aside, I think it would be a good idea to have a artisan on our side, or whatever he is. Artificer, blacksmith.
And he does whatever we want him to do. I've got some ideas.
Eh,
I think he
So was it? Hang on.
specializes in blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were gonna have him finish his contract, weren't we?
We had decided we needed to figure out what we needed to make because there's a real chance that we want to make we don't have the materials for. So we need to go get the materials. So if it's going to take us a couple weeks to get the materials, there's no point in buying out his contract, having him sitting around thumbing his butthole for weeks. Unless that's what you're into, then there might be a purpose. But
Well, we have a purgatory brick. We have a handful of gems. We've got the dragon bits for weapons, and then pieces of armor that can be scavenged for armor bits, dragon
Yeah.
armor bits.
We can get hold of the basic armor really easily.
Yeah.
We can just.
It's just the step up to awaken that's going to take the time. And that's why I listed, if you go into artisans, then there is Malekith put in some notes about what each of them do in and of themselves, and what, like, if you build a workshop for them, then they can operate outside of or in your base. If they don't have a workshop, well, I mean, when they come to you, they have a level 1 workshop. You don't start getting benefits until they have higher level workshops. It works just like paying to upgrade your castle.
One more question.
Yep.
does the armor class bonus apply only when you're wielding the weapon? Like if you got a bow that has dragon bits on it?
Right.
So it only applies when you're wielding the weapon?
Correct. Or if you're wielding or if you're wearing the armor.
Okay. Next question is, you can be attuned to one awakened, one exalted. Does dormant require attunement?
Dormant still requires attunement. I just put like a cap on, because once you get to awakened and exalted, the weapons get the weapon or armor gets kind of crazy, and like
There's a lot to keep track of.
well, there's a lot to keep track of, but beyond that, I mean like the abilities of them, get pretty intense.
Yeah.
So attuning to more than one awakened and one exalted will, I'm not going to say will break the game, but it'll definitely change the challenge level of enemies.
Okay. So
Does that kind of make sense for the moment? And you can also see I put on exotic materials, if you break it up into steps, that's how long each step takes. If he does multiple steps at once, obviously that time frame shrinks down. So if you had all the ingredients to make an exalted weapon, you're gonna shrink down by probably, I would say, like 50%. So instead of it being 15 days, it's gonna be more like 8. If you just do the first 2 steps, then it'll shrink down by like 30%, 35. Not, and I don't have a rough estimate on there. But so making one all at one time is going to be quicker than it would be to make each individual step.
Oh, I've only worked it out. What right?
Because he's got to break, from each individual step, he's got to rework the whole weapon or armor.
Yeah, it's like that when you take your car in and they say, right, we're going to change such and such a thing. While I've got the engine out, I've got to do this as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, I'll have to take the time to take. Yeah, I know it's. Yeah, okay.
Does that all kind of make sense, at least at this
Yeah.
point?
yeah.
What are we going to do from it, like a game perspective now? Then are we going to actually sit here and decide what we all want and order them now?
Well, I don't know that we need to decide what we all want. We need to decide one or two things to go work out because, like, unless we have the materials to make this, these are going to be not something we can just go and get easily, right? It's going to take some actual like adventuring and
Yeah.
training stuff. So we probably want to work on one, maybe two things at once, and not 10.
Yeah.
Anything red is going to be an undertaking.
Yeah.
And as it stands, we really only have enough stuff to get one weapon upgraded with silver, green, and blue.
And really, you only have
Or
one of the
armor.
green options at this point. Well,
Yeah,
in
like,
your inventory.
Literally just one. Yeah. So I mean, it'd be a good idea to figure out what you want, but until we have the materials to, like actually make them.
Plan is to figure out what we want and then start figuring out how to go get the things to make them. A couple days to kill, and that would be a good use for those days.
Fire damage. 88.
That sounds painful.
So do the abilities on these have any limits to them, like life sap? This is as a bonus action.
So all your abilities are like once per long rest.
Okay.
being as they are incredibly powerful per like each one I feel like is incredibly powerful. I really let loose on what kind of powers you would get from these. Take for example, I'm just looking. Okay, so we got for Fae, we have Shifting Illusion and Primal Power. So if you get Shifting Illusion, then for 1 minute you flip a coin. On heads, creature loses its action. On tails, you still move, but you have to you still take damage. So if you could do that multiple times per long rest, you can see how that could get out of control really quick.
Nah, it'll be okay.
Or Primal Power, the next time you deal damage, roll 3 times as many dice as you normally would. Yeah, that could get out of hand real quick.
That one seems fair and balanced. I don't know.
Now, is that like choose before you roll, or is it like a smite?
I would it's a special action, so I would say you choose, after you're gonna like, hey, I'm gonna do this, activate special power. After you look at the creature and you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna do it this. I'm gonna do it on this creature. You don't decide before you hit. You decide before damage calculation. In this instance.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't taken a moment to look at the straight up abilities that I put in, they are
Bonkers.
pretty ridiculous.
So for these abilities with saving throws, what does that go off of if you do not have spellcasting?
DC for saving throws, whether or not you have spellcasting, it's in note number 5. DC for saving throws is 19. Static,
Oh.
doesn't move. Doesn't change
Mine
whether or not
helps.
you got a stronger, higher, like a stronger weapon. It's always 19. And basically that will break down so that obviously on your average person, it's going to break down to between an activation rate of between 70 and like 35% is what I did the math on. Depending on if you're going against their strong stat or their weak stat. Obviously, with a boss, those are going to be skewed very much the other way, so you're going to have a lot lower offset rate. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use them, because using one of these on a boss will definitely change the tide if it needs to.
Infernal Rage looks fucking spicy.
Yeah.
What do we? Right, if we're only going to pick a couple of these for now, like in terms of, we're not going to leave a list of weapons. What do we actually need most as a group? Because we could ruminate over this. But
Well, I think the most important thing, straight up, is getting Pete a second good weapon. To me, that's option number 1. What we do past that, I don't know.
I need better armor.
So top 2 priorities: armor for Aelin, and I mean, realistically, with these charts, it doesn't necessarily have to be an armor, but you have 2 pretty good, weapons as it is.
Yeah.
But it's raise Aelin's AC,
right,
regardless of whether it's done via armor or via the weapon.
Raise Aelin's AC and raise Samuel's just
The
attack
ability to do
power in
damage.
general. Damage ability in general, I guess I would say. I guess so. With that in mind, you have the dragon.
Well, from my point of view, it'd be the. Oh right, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say,
This is
so in your inventory currently, you have some armor you can cannibalize, or we could talk about going after dragons. From an attack standpoint, silver tungsten we don't have, but that's much more easily accessible than any of your green category stuff. Green category is pretty much just like flavor and added damage, and then gemstone materials are. I feel like that's the category we really shouldn't focus on, because getting gems is gonna be just, hey, let's go to the merchant, see what gems they have, and see what we can buy. I mean, obviously we could go hunting for gems as well, but considering the other things we're hunting for, that seems like a really low priority list. And then, of course, the obvious one is figuring out what red categories you want, so then we could go hunting after those big chunguses.
But are we going to go? If what we leave now, are we ordering essentially something that's all the way up to Exalted right now?
We have to make that decision. We don't know. We could.
And there's also, instead of ordering, we could just say, hey, after your contract ends, we want to pay you to start working for us.
In which case we don't need to actually specifically know what we need right now. Then, do we?
Correct.
Which might be better, because in that case,
unless we want to go try to farm, unless we want to go spend the next couple of days trying to acquire stuff, then we do need to know what we want right now, right? Like.
Okay, well, in simplistic terms, then, for example, I would probably want something that's +2 attack rolls, and then so that's the silver tungsten, and then I'd want let's say +2 d8 fire damage, that one, which is then all the fire stuff.
Sure.
Across the board. Now, whether or not it ends up being dormant, awakened, or whatever is by the by. And then I'd need, let's say, for argument's sake, basically we need to get hold of. We could do with getting hold of any, gemstone things that we can get hold of.
Right.
Would help in this case. If we just fucked off and got a load of gemstones, that would help, wouldn't it?
Some, I think those are the least important part, but yeah, that would help some.
Okay.
I think honestly at this point we need to focus on what you guys want from the green category, so we can focus on how to get it.
Yeah, you're probably right there. Well, from what would we all want from the green category then?
Well, as it stands at the moment, I think I would like another stone.
I'm looking
Yeah, I'm
at
the same.
Nether stone and purgatory brick.
So I'll say this: as far as damage goes, I would avoid Netherstone for like trying to do extra damage. We're fighting a lot of like one of our main enemies are devils and demons, right? Who are going to just not take any fire damage or take partial fire damage. Now, the awakened portion, like so, if you're making an armor, the awakened portion makes sense, right? Because having fire resistance against fire enemies, that's great. If you're making a weapon, though, I would avoid that just because we're going to be fighting a lot of enemies who have fire resistance where it's not so great.
Yeah, I was looking at the fire resistance and the advantage on magic saving throws, because I don't have a great track record with passing saving throws.
That makes perfect sense.
So I wasn't really too miffed one way or the other about the damage.
Yeah, purgatory brick's no particular use to me because I've already got my initiatives maxed out anyway. Charisma checks is no good.
You say that.
That would be quite good for me.
That forces you into charisma checks.
Charisma check's great because charisma check is actually incredibly powerful. A bunch of the high level control spells are charisma.
Yeah, no, what I mean is my charisma isn't good. So does an advantage give you effectively? I know it doesn't, but it's effectively like +4 or 5, isn't it? Like
yeah.
you like, yeah. I know it doesn't because you can't reach 5 higher than you would have reached, but it's sort of, broadly speaking, that probably wouldn't be bad for me if I went that way. What's that? Face stone.
Mhm.
+2 cold damage.
Plus 2d8 cold damage, so 2 to 16.
Sorry, yeah, +2d8. Yeah, I meant to say that. And then resistance against cold damage. Oh, that's good. Yeah, so I'd go that way then. Face stone. Probably help me actually big time.
You know, it would be helpful if someone took Fey parts for the effervescent bit, and then just stuck with whoever chooses to max out their armor class. That could be a very situational thing because you can't always guarantee that.
I'll be honest, I missed the beginning of what you said.
I was saying that if someone took effervescent as their armor or weapon effect, that could be very potent if if someone else had a really high armor class, like +8 to their armor class.
Is that how does it work? I'm trying to open it up. View notes.
Effervescent, if you're within 5 feet of an ally, you cannot be targeted by attacks or spells.
Now that doesn't mean you couldn't get hit by like
you
an
weren't-
area of an effect. You know,
Sure.
like fireball would still hit you. But
So I'm assuming there's some limit on this because otherwise we would just put it on everyone and then stack on top of each other and be immune to physical attacks.
right.
So I'm assuming there is some limit here that we can't just abuse. Like, I mean, I've played games before where like enemies will shield each other and they just become unkillable, and I'm assuming we're not doing that.
No.
Well, we wouldn't be able to move at all.
Well, we just have to be within 1 square of each other, right?
You
Just
have
inch 5 feet across the battle map.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We're a line.
We'll tether everyone together and then just have to like Halbjorn, you're gonna have to get real strong because we're gonna have to carry everyone. I'm sorry.
Like, we are the line in the sand, bitch. Ugh. Well, I know what I want.
Go on, what do you want then?
Okay. I'm thinking awakened armor would be nice. Put a dragon carcass on there for armor class, of course. A blue sapphire for that lovely mass cure wounds. Oh, sorry. No, you don't get that.
Exalted.
Yeah, you only get that exalted. Oh boy. Get you another stone, and you get some giant bits for the thick skin ability. Let's see, and that's AC increases by 2, and any damage you take is reduced by half. That's pretty fucking potent. And then on the flip side of that, you get an exalted weapon. Silver tungsten for that spicy attack bonus. Black opal for synaptic static, which is fucking mean. And you add purgatory brick for that extra necrotic damage and advantage on initiative. Then you take undeath, the undead bits for the undeath, and monstrosity for untamable. Undeath just it's like that one barbarian ability where if you go down, you don't actually go down. But untamable just lets you. Where's that? Untamable.
Unaffected by negative conditions or stat reductions. All damage you deal ignores immunity and resistances.
And that's also fucking powerful.
Like I said, a lot of these, the majority of them are just crazy. That's kind of what I
Yeah,
wanted though. It's fun to have, you know, like a super crazy thing, right?
Yeah. And of course, Purgatory Brick. Yeah, advance on initiative. Now, is that all the time, or is that just once?
I mean, we honestly don't do enough, and on average, we don't do enough that you're doing it more than, a couple times a day. So
Sure.
it's not the end of the world to have a couple. The only reason that magic saving throws is capped is because obviously there are lots of magical spells that would be severely weakened by always having advantage on magic saving throws.
Yeah. And then, of course, you get to add on 2d8 necrotic, 2d8
Oh,
fire damage. That's 48. Of course,
So
a sapphire.
we talked about England,
shit.
you're set on Netherstone. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, whether or not I go up to the Exalted right away or anything, I think that in the end, that's where I want to end with it. So, yes. God, that's a lot of words to say yes.
And Samuel, you thought about Face Stone, is that correct?
I would say Face Stone, it just makes sense out of the exalted things that would probably be good. I think cold damage is good, but having advantage in charisma would help me out because my charisma is positively negative. To be honest,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't a lot of fiends have, maybe not a lot, but a good number of fiend creatures have resistance to cold damage?
They
They
do.
generally cold and fire are the things they're resistant to.
well,
Yeah.
to be honest, I'm a bit fucked then really because it starts to make it.
Well, it's still
Well,
a
there's a
good
purgatory brick. The purgatory bricks largely.
I mean, Nirvana Sand is so radiant damage is basically the best catch-all. There's like nothing in the game. There's almost nothing in the game that's resistant to it. There's a couple things, but very little. And having a I fell down, I stand back up again thing is not exactly bad. Like that's pretty good. The only downside is like the resistance to radiant damage is less useful because that just doesn't come up as often.
Mm. Yeah.
You basically have to make a choice. No matter which one you choose, there's going to be a downside. None of these are all 100% upside, right? I mean, they're not. I don't want to say that they're a downside because they're not really a downside, but some of the parts are just not going to be as useful as others. But do you want a damage type that's going to be useful all the time, and then other things that are less useful? Do you want, a more powerful exalted effect but the trade-off is the damage isn't useful all the time? If you're making a weapon, personally, I would lean towards getting something that the damage is always useful and worrying less about the exalted effect.
Yeah, it's about doing damage. It's just frustrating that all. Yeah, it's just frustrating that all four of those.
Yeah, I mean, do you also want to do damage? I think Radiant is your best choice. Necrotic is also good. They're pretty close. It just comes down to if you're going all the way to the third tier, what's more useful? Do you advantage on initiative or is your HP recover?
Yeah, the initiative it's not really worth it. The HP thing probably. Like if you even if your HP went back up, it's kept you on your feet, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's kept you on your feet. And even if that kept you on your feet to then hit like 4 times in the next round, that could tip the balance, and then you go back on your ass again. That could tip the balance, couldn't it?
Even just you getting back up and soaking another hit that could have killed someone else, it could be good.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, something like that could prove kind of crucial, I suppose. But the initiative thing really isn't worth it because I'll be like, how many times am I not first in initiative?
I would say maybe like 1 in 10 fights, you're second.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, it's really not going to, and it's not as if it's like, oh shit, we're in trouble. Samuel's not first because I'm not doing that much damage in the first place. So I don't think that's worth it. Magic Sin, well, I think magic saving throws would probably be useful. Yeah, I suppose sensibly it's Radiant, isn't it? I suppose sensibly it's Nirvana Sand.
Yeah, I believe it is as well.
Suppose. I'll be dead glad of that at some point. I really will.
So the question still remains, what do we do about the blacksmith?
I think we put him on retainer. Once your contract's up, come work for us.
I think that's correct as well. We can go spend some time collecting materials and working on other stuff and make sure we're just back here in a month to talk to him again.
Well, and it's not even a month. It's waiting through the end of the month. So you got 8 days.
Oh yeah, 100% then.
Yeah.
Okay, so you tell Gearfried, hey, we like what you're doing, right? What do you say to Gearfried? I don't want to put words in your guys' mouth.
Hey baby, you look pretty. Come work for us.
And he says, okay, like after my contract's done, like we can negotiate something to keep me on retainer. I can set up shop at your base, like no problem. It's easy peasy.
Okay. So do we want to tell him like what this sort of stuff? So can he acquire silver tungsten, or do we need to go like actually get that ourselves?
So he says that depending on, like, if you have, like, he can get a hold of some of it, and at like, I wouldn't say like a wholesale price, but at a like lower cost than it would be for you guys to go out and find a merchant. He was like, or if you have a miner, he was like, they can give you sites where this is at. They can, as long as you're protecting them, they can mine it for you.
We don't usually keep children, but I'll see what I can do.
Oh, whatever.
What?
Nothing.
So from this standpoint, what do you do next?
Well, let's look at the catch-all and look at the time thing. We've got what, 2 days until the mech stuff happens, and then we've got to start doing stuff there. 3 days until the House of Champions contract goes off or expires or whatever. I don't remember.
But you have another one as well.
Yeah.
So since the contracts last a certain amount of days, it's just your next contract will or you could have your next contract start as soon as the last one ends. I didn't know how you guys wanted to do that. So right now it's at 14. That could change to 17 and push back the modifier 3 days. Was I on mute for that?
No, you're good.
I was like, what?
I'm just thinking. Sorry. Got a couple days. Where did the sheet go? So we need to get some Nirvana sand, a Nether stone for Aylin's armor, and a Nirvana sand for Pete's weapon. So that's where we're starting, or Samuel's weapon. And we need to, okay, so He'll handle the drag. How are we on Dragon Carcass? Like, do we have enough parts to make an armor, or do we need to go acquire some?
We
If you
need to acquire some, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of depends. If you want to cannibalize old armor, you have some now. If you don't want to cannibalize old armor, then you don't have any for armor right now.
Wait, because we could cannibalize the cloak
Yep.
that was made. Which makes me kind of sad. I like the cloak. But also, when was the last time we came to any kind of falling danger? Well, it does have now some.
Albiorn also has Featherfall.
Yeah. Acid resistance. Or extreme weathers. Yeah. Okay. I guess I can let go of the aesthetic.
Awesome.
I've always just kind of imagined her flapping about in her cloak. Ha
So you're not going to do it anymore. Can you not just have a little play with it and jump off some walls first? For fun.
Get
I feel
on
like
the
you do
top
that
of
in
the
your-
tower. Get on
Yeah,
the
I
top
feel
of
like
the
you just-
castle and just jump off a few times.
Please
Yeah.
don't.
I feel like
Well,
you
last
just-
time I
feel like
jumped
you-
off a building, I did a perfect swan dive straight onto Halbjorn's face.
I feel like you do that anyway, just in your spare time, just for fun. Get pissed and feather fall off big bells.
I can cannibalize the. So we know what I'm doing.
Hang on. Hang on. Oh, fuck off.
So, Nether Stone and Nirvana Sand.
Yeah.
Question is how to get there. And, well, I mean, the question is whether or not you're going to try and find some on the material plane or go to the other planes themselves.
Well, couldn't we just dismantle some of the Illithid fortifications we'd found? Like that place in the forest? That place was made out of purple metal, right?
For sure, but no one talked about Purgatory Brick.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's right. Nether Stone and Nirvana Sand.
Yeah.
Did I remember this wrong, or was I dreaming the fact that you changed patrons from the goddess of the netherworld over to?
He changed from the goddess of Purgatory from
yeah.
her weapon to her directly.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I knew
we
there was
stopped
something that
being
happened. I
locked
just couldn't
together
remember what it was.
and became a warden.
Okay. Again, purgatory.
Yep.
So we have to go get. No, nothing.
But we have communicated with Day past, so in theory, we could just straight petition the person who controls the netherworld.
Ah, yes. Let's petition the guy who's in charge of the netherworld. Who is
Oh,
that
God
again?
damn it! I forgot who that was.
Who is that again? Does anyone
Oh,
remember?
God damn it!
Fuck, I forgot who I
No.
put in charge of
No.
that.
He's full of teenage angst.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
You guys have had great times with him. Just petition him and be like, "Hey, can we just get some stone from over there? Could you just ship some over?"
You could
you know what? You know what? That's
Amazon
fair,
Prime.
but also I'm tired.
Teenagers usually love getting people stoned. I don't know why this would be a problem.
Yeah, I'm half dead.
Okay. So here's an idea. What if we use? Where is it at? Where's my creations?
The Amulet of Plains to, or I mean, really, if you guys are looking for Netherstone, just go to the tear and walk through it. You'll be fine. What's the worst that
I
happens?
highly fucking doubt that.
There's
Death.
a demon devil army on the other side just waiting for
Gonna
you.
press F to doubt that. What if we used
Might be half dead. and I'm not
either the
that stupid.
Amulet of Plains to go there, or where the fuck is it? The Rod of Security. What if we went to? What if we used the Rod of Security, but whoever used it was like, "Hey, I want my paradise to look like the Netherworld. Could we harvest Nether brick from there?
I think
Or
you'd.
Nether stone."
I think you'd have to get it from there directly, not some cheap imitation, as Teenage Angst would call it.
Weak.
Oh.
So.
Well,
We have a key to the underworld. I know that's the skeleton key. Oh, it's cursed. Never mind. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, using that key always turned out well too.
Worked out well for me. Rooney Rocks, so that Aelin and Samuel can fucking giggle to each other. What about those cursed ass Longbone Longsword? No, that probably wouldn't be made out of stone. I mean, we need one of those anyway. So are we gonna, go to hell and bring some stone back? How much would we need to bring
Well, so you
for
need
one individual?
Yeah, for one ingot. I mean, that's what I generally have that's what I have it at right now for the. Do you have one ingot, and what size is that? That's pretty small. Because it's just inlaying it through your base material. So either dragon or silver, tungsten. But it's pretty small. It's only, I mean, it's not like you need a whole lot of it. It's 3 inches by 2 inches by 1 inch.
So could we just go in there and like pick up a decent sized rock and come back?
Assuming it's the assuming it's not just, your normal everyday, it's not going to be the rock that you find on the ground as soon as you walk through the portal.
What if it was?
I mean, you might get lucky and teleport right there.
Yeah, we might find another fortress. Just harvest right from the walls. Bing, bang, boom. Job well done. Do us some good to bring some netherrack back to you.
Yeah, I mean that definitely go to the fortress. There definitely no powerful people have fortresses in in the Nether.
I'll just be wither skeletons and ghasts and fucking pigmen. Easy collapse. Well, do you guys want to go to hell?
Yeah.
All right. Let's. Y'all stay right here. I'll go fix the Kool-Aid.
We're not Jim Jonesing our way to hell.
Too late. I already said it.
You're no fun.
Yeah, you're not gonna make a fucking liar out of me.
He's like, I will Jones myself to hell.
I mean, okay. Have fun with that.
This is America.
I mean, technically that was in South America, right? Not.
Yeah. That did not happen in the States proper.
Where did the what's it?
Oh,
The
Jim
Kool-Aid
Jones.
I didn't think it was even anywhere near America's. It
was in
started
South-
in America.
Right, it was in South America. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it probably was actually.
Took them all to meet God. Yeah, are we gonna go to? Are we gonna go throw down in hell?
Yep.
Or are we gonna go to the Feywild? Get some face stuff.
I think Nirvana is the other place we talked about going.
Oh, Nirvana's. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we only need some sand. The easy way to do that is just get there, run around a bit on the beach, and then empty our shoes when we get back.
You know,
And then
something
before we
tells me the God of Good is gonna be in the same vein as his fucking brother.
What? Twins are never alike.
Hang on, if it's a god of good, surely we can just say, look, we're fighting bad things. Can we borrow some sand?
Well, he could be lawful good, but in the stupid way.
Yeah. True. Where we're going first, though, hell.
Why don't we higher low it? You know, actually, I say we should go to Nirvana first, because we've had zero interaction with Michael, however you say his fucking name.
Steve,
yeah, we've had zero interaction with Steve so far.
Miguel, however you say it.
His name's Steve. It's already sorry, it's canon now.
Steve and Teenage Angst.
Let's go have a gander at Steve's turf. See what we're up against. Just
start at heaven and work our way down.
The Illing K of God's A. Don't fucking tell them that we're gonna come after his ass too.
Right.
Did I? Fuck. I don't have a map.
I'm sorry, have we caught you unprepared?
I just realized that I made a map for everywhere else, but I didn't make a map for them, and I don't know why.
Are you sure? I could have swore you showed me one.
I thought I did too. for Nirvana, but I
I
only
don't think it was fully done.
I thought I. mm, I swore I had one.
Oh God.
No, apparently not. If there's no objections, I realize I didn't make a map for hell or for heaven. Nirvana.
Heaven. We'll just
Yep.
assume that heaven's having some refurbishments done, so we can't. So it's closed for the weekend.
0 out of 10. I don't know.
They're not getting a positive Yelp review from me.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big no, dog.
But
It's
then
flagging you off on TripAdvisor right now.
I'm a Yelper.
the Netherworld, on the other hand, I have that one willing to go because I always had a slight gut feeling that
You knew we'd be here eventually.
yeah, that you guys would. Let me just. There we
By the
go.
way, did we get away with our grave robbery?
I mean, no one's come and
we-
talked to you about it. You kind of bailed right afterwards.
Oh, cool. And we have the master lodestone
Yes.
in our tower, right? Okay.
There we go. To hell?
and beyond.
Sure.
All right. Using the amulet of planes? Is
I
there
will
a-
say, I will say though, if we die here, Dale, I will never forgive you.
You won't die here. You won't die here. Theoretically. There's always someone who seems to throw a wrench into the plans. And not naming names, but he's usually big and large. And picks fights when you don't need to pick fights.
Harlan, please stop.
And I do occasionally throw a wrench into plans, but that's definitely not my default.
Okay, so remind me again, how does the amulet of plane work? Is there a save involved or no?
There is a save. So also requires attunement. I literally just closed the fucking backpack.
Why would you do such a thing?
Un momento. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this into chat because I've had nothing to drink but soda so far.
While wearing this amulet, you use an action to name a location you're familiar with on another plane of existence.
Oh, that's unfortunate. We haven't been to hell yet.
But I mean,
Oh.
surely someone knows, surely someone is familiar with a location on the plane of hell. Maybe not someone who's in your party at this very moment, depending on your party content, but
Yeah.
someone definitely knows something about hell.
Would that be Cielo or Alicia? Because
Okay,
Cielo's good.
Listos.
Hang on, this is a.
Let's not deliver Fuckface's daughter right into his hands.
Well, she doesn't have to come with us. She just has to
Okay.
tell us about it.
Okay, just wanted to put that out there.
Well, yeah.
What?
Duh.
You're reuniting family.
You be quiet, DM.
I'm sorry, do you have a perfect relationship with every single person in your family?
No. Nope. Just my in-laws, surprisingly.
That's okay. I expect to not have a sister fairly soon, so No, not as in she's going to be dead, but as in, like, we shall be estranged soon.
Oh.
Just figure I should put that out there.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, and I was like, "Oh, is she all right?"
Yeah,
I
I
think
hear I was
so.
worried you were gonna like murder her, and I'm like, it's dark even for
Oh.
you.
Yeah. I was worried. There was loads of talk of Kool-Aid, and all of a sudden, people going missing. I was...
How else will you have a thanks? Never fucking mind. God damn it.
It's a Christmas ham. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. I don't even know what I was trying to say there. Thanks, turkey ham. Dude, what is wrong with me today?
You've
You're
had too
fucking
much
sober. That's the
caffeine.
problem.
I don't drink though.
You've had
So you guys
too
go
much sleep.
to Alicia, Cielo, which one?
I mean, let's start with Ciela because she's here.
Where
Gotta
are
ask her.
we?
You are in Mapai.
Oh, she's not here. I lied.
Oh, yeah. That's right, because we were talking to the blacksmith.
Are we still in front
Cool.
of the blacksmith, just bumbling about having this conversation now? Because I don't think he's going to want to work for us.
I just imagine it's this sort of, like in game when you just leave it on, you're standing outside the NPC shop, and I just imagine, they're just sitting there, and you're deciding, going through your inventory.
So, in like 8 days, you're gonna come to our tower, and how are we gonna? Is he gonna come and work for us and hang out and live with us, or how is
Yes.
that gonna work? Okay,
Yeah.
Is he? He's going to live in the tower?
Yep.
Oh.
nice.
He'll bring
We're
some
getting
of his own tools, have a makeshift shop set up. If you guys wish to upgrade that shop in the future, then
Well, I don't want him
they're
messing the
open.
place up. It's, when you get when you have to share a house with other people. I don't want all of a sudden he's not washing up and he's not. Do you know what I mean?
He's
He's
gonna
not
Putting
have
putting
his
his
own
dirty
dedicated space.
laundry.
It'll be fine.
It's not putting in the kitty for the bread and milk. He never puts. It doesn't even know what a washing machine is. This fucking guy. Do you know what I mean?
So you travel back home to Mech, check in with Ciela, and she, asked, "Did you guys, find a smith? Are we? How's things on that front?"
Yes, we found a smith. He shall be joining us in about 8 days. The end of the month. He should be showing up soon.
After some house training.
She's like, "Okay, I'll have Malekith start setting up a, like a designated area for him." What else? What else can I help you guys do?
Get to hell.
She's like, "Well, that's straightforward." She was like, like, I assume you're going to use the ammunial plane," she says.
Yeah.
She says, "So really you just need a spot, right?" She's
Mhm.
like, "I can go with you if you want, or I can stay here." She's like, "I know of a tower that Fiona used to keep in the Netherworld." She's like, I've never been there myself, but I know generally in the hellscape where it's at. She's like, "I don't know what the condition of it is, because the last I knew, it's been a few hundred years since she's been there."
But in theory, we should be able to get some workable piece off of it.
She's like, "Yeah, for sure." She's like,
Okay.
"Assuming that there aren't current tenants or any of that sort.
Well,
She's like, would you like me to join you guys, or just kind of describe to you where it is and give you a little bit of a map of the netherworld as I know it?
you seem pretty comfortable with the idea of going with us, and I think that you are a pretty well relied upon member of our group at this point.
She's like, yeah,
Anybody?
sure. Like, I can I can definitely go with you guys. Like, no problem.
Cool.
Okay. That being the case, let's see the intelligence check.
Who's doing it?
Whoever's got the.
It's one of you two. You two have the highest int. So
All right. So let's see.
My intelligence is 14.
Well, let me see if I have anything that could help that.
I got a 15 on it.
Yeah, go for it then. Have we got anything? Have we got any boosters on this?
Yeah,
What?
I'll enhance ability here. Gives you advantage on intelligence checks.
Cool.
Okay.
Kaylin. Country roads take us home. Yeah, that advantage kicked in
hell?
really, really helpful.
Yes, it was.
You.
So, the world shifts around you. You get a little, you know, you feel like you're being sucked through a wormhole, and you end up, if you see the map, I assume the map change.
Yep.
You're outside of the tower. That's front and center. There is a river just outside the tower. CL is, describing this stuff to you guys. She said the river outside the tower. This is the river Styx. She's like, don't go in the water. She's like, just don't. Don't draw anything from the water. Don't get near the water.
if I pee in the water, what happens?
She's like, you're probably fine if you pee in the water. She's like, worst that's gonna happen is a little, like a little demon is gonna start coming out of said water.
I'm sure I got told as a kid that there were these little creatures that could swim back up your wee. If you peed in a river. I don't think it's true.
No,
There
there are.
are
Are
fish
they really?
like that.
Well, they can swim back up a stream of piss.
No, you technically need to like be in the river.
Oh, right. No, that's what I mean. When I was a kid, I got told that if you stood up and you wee, like, into a river, there's these creatures that can swim up the stream of wee.
No.
No. Okay.
That is a fantastical exaggeration.
I think I've only just got to the point of... I've forgotten about it, so I've only just got to the point of realising that's not true. I think I was probably about 8 when I got told that, I imagine. Anyway, it could happen here, so just be careful.
Piss demons, got it.
Yeah, honestly.
So CL goes on and she says, across the river, there's deep into the netherworld, there's mountains. She's like, I'm not sure what kind of inhabitants are in the mountains. She's like, I'd assume demony ones or fiendy ones. She's like, to the west, there's kind of like a cave. I would say it would be a very generic description of it. She's like, most of the chromatic dragons that end up dead end up here. Originally, this was the site of Asriel's dragon. She says further south of that, there's some encampments, and of course, follow the river Styx back to the source, and you have Asriel's castle. As you look around the hellscape, it's very charred. It's dark, but there's like a constant red glow. Just, I wouldn't say around everything, just how everything is slightly perceived. There's like a red tint to it. Lot of hellscape, lot of, nomadic creatures just moving about. She was like, this is the tower. She's like, it doesn't look occupied at the moment. She was like, but that can be deceptive.
So are we next to this tower?
You are here.
Okay. And how far is it to the cave? Can we see the cave, or is that just there to give us a general idea of what's around?
No, that's just a general idea. She says the distance is really skewed on this plane, so it's hard to determine how far away. She's like, maybe 2 days. She's like, it's hard to determine how the days are progressing. She was like, time's normal, but looking around, you won't be able to tell what time it is. She's like, so I suggest we don't stay here for too long. I assume that someone will know we're here, and that someone probably isn't our friend.
Yeah, let's see what we can find to take home with us.
Say that again.
Sorry, how big is this tower?
So the tower goes probably, it looks very similar to the tower that you guys have. It's probably 120 to 100 feet tall. It's got a big base. It slowly spires up to a point. It looks to be of similar construction to you guys, to your guys' castle, with the exception of, instead of being built out of purgatory brick, this brick is like crimson red. It's got a little bit of a metallic look to it, but oh, sorry, 1 second.
So here's an idea. Why don't we just knock a few chunks out of this tower and get the fuck out?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm glad someone else said it. Also, if we ever need another brick.
That's what I thought. If this is the right kind of brick, how do we know it's the right brick? Presume it is.
Get a chunk of it, identify. That might work.
Yeah.
Also,
because that's basically what I thought too. I thought it just seemed a bit too of an easy idea.
I assume that Halbjorn's gonna be the one doing the smashing.
But we want to Jenga this motherfucker.
But while that's happening, he's gonna pass his journal to one of his party mates and instruct them to ask Fiona if she has managed to get a better reading on where Felicity is.
His journal?
Yeah. She turned it into basically a radio, but it's a book.
But it's a book.
It's Tom Riddle's diary.
It's Tom Riddle's diary, exactly.
Yeah.
When we get it, I'm sure whoever gets it's going to draw at least one dick in it.
So we're not handing it to Pete.
Hand it to me. I can't draw. It'll be very crude.
I'm pretty sure if you could draw it, it'd be crude if you're drawing a penis.
That book is also a record of his adventures so far with the group, so no penis drawings.
But that just seems like the most appropriate.
The perpetrator will be punished severely.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, again, why are you threatening people with a good time?
So someone writes to Fiona and what do they say? Hey, can you get a better read on Felicity? Is that correct?
I write, "Do you like me? Yes/no" with like little boxes.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I've got man tits.
And the sheet goes blank, and then you see some script, and it just says, "As a friend."
Aww.
I'll send back a frowny face. And I'm gonna write, "I'm just fucking with you. This isn't Hal Bjorn. He has a question," and then write down his question.
So the ink disappears and it comes back, and she says, through my journal, I get a better sense of where Felicity is. She seems to be, like, from what I can tell, she's within like a couple days journey. It's dark. I would say it's probably west of your location, wherever you are. And then it says, I assume, the Nether.
Yeah.
Yes, we are in the Nether right now. Stealing some Nether brick. Nether stone.
She says, as far as I can tell, Felicity hasn't moved. At best, I could say she's a couple days travel from west of your location. She's like, but beyond that, I still don't have a really good feel. There's a pretty good block of, like, what I can see from where you're at. She's like, honestly, I can't even see you at this particular point.
Well, in that case, could we have Harlan fly up to the top of the tower, wild shape into a bird, and fly up to the top of the tower, then see if he can get a good look at the cave in the distance?
Sure can.
We can't see it.
Oh, I don't think Dale heard us have the conversation about the.
Yeah, we wanted we want to identify the building and see if this is the brick we're after, like if it's made of the brick we're after.
Oh, are you asking that to Fiona as well?
No, we just wanted to do identify on the brick.
Oh yeah. So if you identify the brick of the tower, then you can tell that this is in fact another brick.
Cool.
And it has, I wouldn't say, like, it has fiendish qualities, but it's not like cursed or anything. It just is fiendish because of the environment it's in.
Oh, hang on.
So this would do for our purposes, basically. We could
Yes.
smash a big chunk out of it.
For sure, 100%.
I say we do that then.
It's smashing.
Harlan, you're flying to the top.
Yep.
As you fly up, there are some windows that you go by. Do you take a peek while you go by?
Sure.
So in the tower, you can see a large number of low-level fiends and devils working. From just the window guesses that you get, on the floor that the windows are on, there's maybe 20. Somewhere between, I would say, like CR5 and CR11.
I just want to collapse the entire tower.
That went really loud, Tesmo.
Kill all the fiends inside and let us get some brick and get out of here.
as you get to the top, you feel an horrible presence, a powerful, horrible presence. You don't see anything.
Dad, is that you?
But you definitely feel something bad. From the top of the tower, you can see into the distance, kind of the outs, and the entrance to this cave. It does appear to be a couple days travel, and on the outside you can see a number of large, probably draconic tracks, as well as a couple dragons that are slightly behind the entrance to the cave, like on regular Hellscape. And both of the dragons that you can see appear to be at least huge. One is red and one is black.
Ain't great, Tim.
What'd you say?
Said that ain't great.
Nope, not the greatest. In the meantime, Halbjorn, you are working away at the brick.
Yeah. What I miss? Had a very brief apartment inspection.
Did you hear the description of the cave?
Nope.
Okay. So, description of the cave, it does look indeed about 2 days travel away. Behind the cave, like on top of the land where the cave goes down, obviously. There are 2 dragons. They appear to be huge, at least.
Oh my.
One black, one red. And there are a large number of tracks that appear to be draconic leading into the cave.
Okay. So they're waiting for something to come out, or they're guarding something.
Did you hear about the tower as well?
That it is what we're looking for?
It is what you're looking for. As Harlan was going up, in the window he could see 15 to 20 or so low to mid-level demons and devils between like CR5 and CR11. And then as he got close to the top, he didn't see anything, but he felt a very ominous, powerful presence.
Okay. So the reason I wanted him to go up and get a look at the cave was, would the answer probably no, but would that impart enough familiarity for us to teleport right there in the future?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool, mission accomplished.
Well, we need to get the stones, though. The stone.
Yes, but our dear friend Felicity might be in prison there, who also is probably a god, lowercase g, serving under Halbjorn's goddess. In order of importance, of course. We gotta go get our homie out of there. After we've dealt with the mech nonsense and all that stuff. We've got enough on the plate already. But that's another objective on our list.
Yeah.
So you smash away at some outer wall, is that correct?
Sure. Can he use his pickaxe, or does he have to use the sledge?
I mean, either way, doesn't matter.
All right. Try to finesse some rocks out of there with the pickaxe.
And why don't you? I don't know. I would say maybe a dex check and or a wisdom check. I'll let you pick to make sure that you're hitting that. You're either hitting it correctly or breaking off the piece that's important, or however you want to look at it.
Oh boy, well, this is gonna be rough. A 12.
So you managed to, unless you have, I was gonna say like blacksmith or mining tools. I don't know if you do or
I
not.
think he does have blacksmith.
So I would say you can add your proficiency to it.
16 then.
Okay. So you break off, I would say, about 3 usable chunks using the guide of this is already what you have as a purgatory brick. So this is, an equivalent amount. You probably get 3 or so nether stone bricks that will work as ingredients. You probably break off a little bit more than that. Just trial and error and the way the stone cracks, things of that nature.
Lovely.
It sounds just barely, you can barely sense that you can hear things moving on the other side. Not necessarily moving towards you, or not even necessarily that they're aware of you, but you can hear creatures on the other side of the wall.
That sounds like it's time to GTFO.
No, it sounds like it's time to get greedy and try to gather some more. This is why I've never won a round of Payday.
So you break off a little more, is that correct?
Yes. Will that be another dex check?
Yeah.
+6 is out of the park.
Nice. So you break off a little more. You probably get 3 more usable pieces, and this time you're better about how you determine where to hit at to break off the pieces that you need. You get 3 more for sure, and you can just barely see in where you've been mining at. You can just barely see like just a single shred of light coming through the wall.
All right. How big is the hole?
It cones in, so the inside hole is probably like the hole that you can see through to the other side is, I don't know, I would say like inch radius.
So it's big enough to push a vial through.
An inch radius.
Maybe. No, I'm asking you if that's big enough to.
I'm
Push a
just
vial
trying
through.
to think of how big a vial would be. Because I'm talking, I mean, the hole, if it were a square hole, it would be like a side would be as big as your thumb. Not you, Halbjorn, us normal people, size of your thumb.
You want to high or low it?
What are you doing? What are you planning on doing?
Something naughty.
He's trying to blow up the tower full of fiends.
No,
I just want to put one in there as a fair and equitable trade for taking some of their wall.
I think we should just leave before we end up in trouble.
Well, yeah, we do that as we're leaving.
And then hope we don't fail the intelligence check to get away.
Yeah.
Well, that goes for like an hour. I think. Let me make sure. Yeah, concentration up to an hour. How long have we been in there?
Probably
While?
not, probably close to that amount of time, but I wouldn't say you've gone over the hour for sure.
Can we go home now that we have what we need, please?
Yep, the fuse is lit. Better check.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
That's unfortunate.
Yes, it is.
So, on a failure, you and each creature and object within 15 feet of you travel to a random destination. On roll a d100, a 1 through 60,
Oh,
you travel to
this
a
could.
random location on the plane you named. So, there are much worse places that you could yeet out of.
Yeah, you can end up on a completely different plane altogether, can't you?
Yeah, you can't end up on a randomly determined plane.
Like the realm of endless water.
Woo. So you yeet yourself out. You end up back on the material plane. You seem to be in a well-established city. It's bustling. You can smell the water. There's a lot of water around where you're at, both coming off the sea and a large river that cuts the town into two. Nothing looks familiar right off the bat, except for having spent significant amount of time in Merrywind. You recognize that a lot of the structures and symbols look to be court symbols. There's also a large forest to the east, and like I said, sea to the west.
Ocean cruise.
Well, should we just ask someone where are we?
Where are we? I just came from somewhere else.
Well, I don't know. You can't. I mean, what do they do in films? They go and buy a newspaper, don't they? Or that's time travel. And they're checking the dates. Bollocks, Pete.
You know, they accost
Um,
a group of thugs in an alley and demand their clothing.
Yeah, but they're naked
Also-
and bodybuilders at that point usually.
yeah,
Did we
yeah. Let's
manage
let's
to
just go
like
walk up. Sorry, go on.
did we pop into existence like completely alone, like in an isolated area, or are there people about who are just like, oh shit, somebody just popped into existence?
You're kind of on the edge of town, so there are people. They're just not directly around you.
Okay.
How would we find out? How would we find out where the fuck we are?
We could ask somebody. Okay, where the fuck are we?
Yeah, so
Well, if there's a market, go up to a market, find someone who looks like a travelling merchant, and say, "Look, you must know what this is like. I've travelled to that many towns, I can't remember where the fuck I am." Do you know what I mean?
why do we
Just
have
make it
to
simple.
pretend like we like what like why
I do butts.
Yeah, why do we have to pretend? I mean, there's
suppose.
magic. It's probably
Yeah, I suppose so.
not a
Yeah.
rare thing for some fucking grad student wizard or sorcerer to pop up in a different town. Ugh, where the fuck am I?
Probably a little bizarre, but not completely unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, magic is common, I suppose, but
relatively speaking, yeah.
So you find the first guy on the street and you say, "Hey, where the fuck am I?" Is that correct?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
So, you know, walk over to a guy who's just kind of moving. It looks to be some sort of you know, like farming cart. It's empty right now. There's a little debris from picked vegetables, perhaps some bad ones. Um, and you know, you say you come up to him and he says, "Hello, I'm sorry. I took all my um I took all my vegetables to market. You know, I'm sorry I don't have any left except for the bad ones, and I wouldn't sell you those."
No, that's all right. Thanks. I'm just curious. Where are we?
He says, "You are in the grand city of Summertide."
Oh,
Oh, right.
He
thanks,
says,
man.
"You're on the if it." He says, "If it helps, you're on the northern side." He was like, "This is where the normal people live."
Oh, uh, the normal people.
He's like, "Yeah, all the aristocrats and all the important people live on the south side."
Oh, I got it. Yeah, okay.
He says,
So
"Us
no.
us regular Joes live on the north side. It's better that way. We're separated from all their puffy attitudes and horribleness."
They don't treat you very well then.
He says they're doing nothing about the recent influx of immigrants. He was like, they're coming from all places. They're stirring up trouble across town. He was like, and no one does anything about it.
And do these troublesome immigrants, they're coming in independently, or are they just like showing up overnight?
He said they're coming in by boat from across the sea. He was like,
Oh,
I understand they travel a long way away from their homeland, away from the desolate other, you know, far reaches from our from our continent. But he was like, I understand why they're coming. He was like, but too many of them are causing problems. He was like, whether it just be spreading rumors or you know, property destruction or something like that. Like there's there's just a lot going on that seems to be tied to these immigrants coming in.
hmm. Uh, What kind of rumors are they spreading?
Oh, just that um you know, there's just some issues with how we do things here, and spreading general rumors about like, hey, this merchant's out to get this merchant, or this aristocrat is fighting with this one. You know, things that rile up the people. You know, the aristocrats are going to drive up the prices of things, or something of that nature. Things that affect us here on the low level, but things that the aristocrats don't really care about because it doesn't
Hmm.
affect them.
Okay.
Are you sure you're not just having issues because of two cultures clashing?
He says, "No, I'm pretty sure that because it's only specific groups of immigrants. I should have been more descriptive in the beginning." He says, the you know, like, I would say, not without sounding too awful, but the other, you know, and this guy that you're speaking to is a human for reference, or appears to be a human. Um, he says it's not the non-humans that are doing this. He was like, it's just the humans who have to come over who are, you know, fueling this fire. And he said, and there's the occasional rumor amongst the people who have lived here for a while that you know, um these human immigrants are in cahoots with either some sort of local power on the dock. He said, or someone in aristocracy is using them to fuel problems.
Oh boy. Well, thank you for the information. One last question. What day is it?
He says, oh, well, it's the 21st day of the second month.
Out
And
of character.
he looks outside and he says, looks to be, I don't know, mid-noon, early afternoon, perhaps.
So out of character, when did we leave for Hell?
Probably would have been mid-morning.
Okay, so still the same day. That's
Yeah,
good.
same day.
Okie doke. I wonder if there's like a mercenary guild in town.
He says, well, there are some mercenaries who set up shop on the south side. He says, I don't know who they are, but they're pretty recent. He was like, I've seen they have activity, previously, but they didn't have a like base here, I guess is how I would put it. But he said they're a pretty recent addition. He was like, otherwise, we have the city guard. That's what you're looking for.
What is their insignia?
He's like, what was it again? He was like, usually, he's trying to think to himself, and he says, I want to say there was some sort of like animal footprint. He was like, I can't put my finger on it. I haven't seen one
Dragon
myself.
foot, dragon claw.
He's like, maybe I'm not 100% sure.
Was it on their hand?
He was like, well, the ones as I said, I haven't seen any up close, but from what I've heard of the rumors, they either have some tattoo or marking on their body, or it's on like a large blue cloak that a lot of them wear.
Bastards. Thank you.
He says, yeah, sure. I'm anything I can do to help. He was like,
What's your name?
You guys seem a little out of place.
Thanks.
I'm Hector, son of Marcus.
Oh, cool. What's the name of his father?
Nope, not going down that thread.
And him.
I hope everyone's just gonna hand him like a couple gold pieces and thank him for the information.
And he's super gracious, and he says, thank you so much. This is, a month's wages. He was like, I really appreciate this.
The fuck?
Do poor people be poor? 11.
They're capitalists. What do you want?
God damn it.
Social safety nets.
Are we gonna have to like take over the whole fucking country?
Basically.
It do be like that sometimes.
Cool. I'm down for it.
Why would take over the whole country?
To stop the rich from being assholes.
Oh, right.
Because we can't
sure
correct
other reasons.
the USA problem, so we have to correct our D&D problem.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
That's the ultimate power fantasy right there. PvP.
Oh.
Having money, being able to travel.
Close group of friends.
Yeah. Not having to social distance. Actually, I'm fine with that bit.
I am as well, to be honest. It's fucking weird how it's all got back to normal. People are all real every 5 minutes. It's horrible.
Yep.
I mean, it was fine when, I'd go to the gas station and, I didn't have someone who was right over my shoulder being like, I'm gonna get this. Like, bro, give me a foot at least. I feel like I can feel your breath on my neck.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hate those people so much.
And people don't approach me at the gas station. I just kind of try to look unfriendly. They used to approach me, and then I got real tired of it.
It doesn't matter how unfriendly I look. I was cursed with le friendly face, and so everyone wants to talk to me.
It's because you's a woman.
I guess.
And
But
I'm
of
guys
quite
are
all,
lucky.
like, I have to talk to her. I'm God's gift to womankind.
but it wasn't even people who like were apparently trying to hit on me in any capacity. It was just like all of a sudden they're like, I'd be sitting on public transit, reading a book, headphones in, like face down, facing away, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, let me just tell you my life story. But why? I don't want to know your life story. Like my
I'm quite lucky.
telephone won't shut the fuck up.
God.
I've got a bit of a crease in between my eyebrows, right? A little, like, just a natural crease, and it makes me look fucking angry all the time. No matter how light-hearted I'm feeling, I just look angry. So people don't approach me quite as much as they would otherwise. Even my friends will say, like, "Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "What? Fine, thanks." So
I mean, how much of that shit do you even get in the UK? I thought it was like kind of a social faux pas to be like, approach someone you don't know and be overly friendly.
well, in the north where I'm from, it's like people are much more friendly. Like the people always joke in London that, like, how weird it is that northerners will talk to strangers. Do you know what I mean? Like in the north, we're generally quite friendly people, but also we don't really like anyone's shit. So it's quite kind of a reasonable balance.
Someone who lives in the US in the South, everyone is fake nice, so everyone will talk to you, but they're just like, it's very much like a nicety and not, they don't actually give a shit.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It's really annoying. It's like,
I can't bear that.
We don't do that up in the north.
I know I'm from the North originally. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so it's like, it's very weird to live in a place
Oh,
where
Yeah, well, I hate all those. It always reminds me of being in some sort of situation where you volunteered to help out somewhere where everyone's being nice and isn't it all good fun type of thing. I hate that, like, fault. I don't know. It really gets under my
it
skin.
feels fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I didn't come here to fucking talk to you and be your friend. I came here to do something. Shut the fuck up and tell me what to do.
So, from this point, talking to Hector, son of Marcus.
Yep.
What do you guys do from here?
I say we should go talk to that, air quote, mercenary guild that just set up shop. So if memory serves, this is one of the towns that, I already forgot his fucking name. Dick Shit McGee could have ended up at.
Shaw,
Shaw, yeah. Potato,
the
potato.
Fisters. Yes, it is. But also, isn't Summertide where we needed to end up for the slaving?
Oh, what a horrible twist of fate.
It's crazy.
But the problem is we don't have the slaves with us.
Yeah, I know. But also, we're like, what, 20 days early?
Yeah, we
Right?
could acquire a scroll of sending and, just send a message off to. Oh, fuck. Ciela's not at her station, is she?
Nope,
No,
Ciela's
she's with
with you.
us.
Hear me out. We could just port back and do what we need to do.
And then come back, because we have the fucking Master Lodestone, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, then the question is, how do we port back? Using your own methods or using the portal that you're not 100% sure where it's at? This
I
is
think
because you reactivated you fixed all the portals from a remote location.
Okay, are we sure that we're actually in Summertide in our own plane of existence? Could we be in an alternate reality Summertide from another universe? Like,
Whoa. I know, because it's the plane that we were aiming at, isn't it?
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
to be on that plane of existence.
okay, true.
Jesus Christ.
I think Harlan should just teleport us back.
Well, hang on. Let's go have a look at the mercenaries.
Why? Why do we need to do this right now? We just know they exist. We
don't.
know who they are already. Let's go home.
I don't want to pick a fight with them. I just want to confirm.
Yes,
who
you
they
do.
are.
We all know you do.
I do not.
Yes. Are you
If I
kidding
wanted to
me?
pick a fight with them, I would have picked a fight with them when I had them in the same town.
You wanted to.
Yes, and you tried to.
But I didn't.
And it definitely doesn't. It definitely wouldn't hurt anything to go expose your guys' self to the guild that may or may not be involved in the slavery part.
Yeah.
Well, all right. If you guys want to be sensible, let's go. Fucking go home.
Oh my god. Yes, let's go home.
Just kick their door and say, "Hey, we know what you're doing.
Bye."
You should stop that." Okay, bye. We won't be
Okay,
back in 20
bye.
days.
Yes, and definitely make sure you tell them when you're coming back.
Oh yeah.
I said we wouldn't be back. Weren't you listening?
No.
No, we stopped listening to you.
Oh, that's hurtful.
Let's go home now, please.
So, Harlan, are we taking a tree, or are we gonna find the portal?
If we should find the portal. We need to know where it is in the future anyway.
So, is it worth talking to Hector, or are we gonna just walk around town?
That's Hector. He might know. He might have some idea.
Yeah.
Let's take him with us.
Why do you want to take him with us?
I don't fucking.
Okay,
Because
then
Halbion
stop
is
it.
a ranger in disguise, who picks up every person he can.
Yeah, he's gonna be our
Hector.
pet.
No, stop it.
That sounded a lot better in my head.
I thought we were
Lord.
working against the slavers.
Well, those slavers.
Sir, do you know
Hey,
about
what?
any potentially
Don't we all-
defunct and or like, not working teleportation portal?
He says, well, there is an odd fountain in the market in the south that did recently just spring to life. He was like, I don't know if that's what you're looking for. He was like, but in the in the merchant square on the south side of town, like I said, there's some weird fountain.
Okay, thank you. Well, good luck with your life.
Don't
And
starve.
yeah,
So I assume you guys make your way to the southern part of town.
I mean that's kind of what I'm guessing.
So as you make your way across this bridge, you instantly notice this massive change in economic power. The houses on the north side are kind of shoddy. wooden construction mixed with, like some sod construction as well. And you go to the north side, and everything's brick or better. You have stone roofs. You have these large, massive buildings. I mean, I've never been, so maybe this is a bad analogy, but at least from what what common rumor would be, it would be like if you walked from, like Oakland over to San Francisco. I don't know if that's an appropriate moniker or not.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's not quite the same as it used to be.
That's fair. So you go over, people are well dressed. And there are signs pointing you to where the market is. You make your way to the market, and it's this massive open outdoor marketplace. You see, hundreds of different vendors selling all sorts of different goods, trinkets, food, all sorts of different things. And right in the center is this massive fountain that in the middle is just this circular pedestal. There's nothing on the pedestal, it's just flat.
Well, that looks like our destination.
And based on your clothes, the aristocrats who see you kind of shy away from you, I guess would be a nice way of putting it. And
We are shunned.
kind of stay a little distance away from you. You got the occasional glance, looking your way, but
What do you mean based on our clothes? Because we look like adventurers or because we look dirty?
I think a little bit of both.
Fucking God, I hate being judged.
So you make your way over to the pedestal, and as soon as you get fairly close to it, the water shuts off, and the pedestal, starts to glow a little bit. So this does indeed look like your destination.
Is it actually working as a fountain?
It works as a fountain, except when someone who has access gets close.
Did
so.
we
Oh, sorry.
activate? That's okay. Did we activate the security features?
I can say tentatively there are security features that are allowing you. We didn't nail down the specifics, but no one besides you is using these portals at the moment.
Yeah, I think the plan was to lock them to a passcode that would be changed daily and sent to us and anyone else allowed to use them daily via sending.
Wouldn't like every 3 days be like a better idea?
3 days could work.
However, the security measures function, you are definitely included within those, so you're fine.
Okay.
So you make your way to the portal, and of course it goes, and you get onto the pedestal, and you're suddenly in this pocket dimension. It's all white. It gives you a list of locations where to go, and they're all lit up. They're all good to go. You can go to any location that it allows you to.
Did we activate the bit where you have to use blood?
No.
Oh, I wanted to do that.
Pete wanted to cut himself.
Daniel's got to cut his hand with the little dagger.
Halvjorn is going to lie and say, yes, we did. What blood do we need? Fearless leader?
Okay.
So we head
Don't worry,
back
I've got.
to Mech, is that correct?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Son of a. So you end up back at the tower at Mech. You know, everything's the same as it was a few hours ago. Nothing's really changed. Where do you go from here? Do you store the bricks here? Do you keep them with you?
Well, we don't really need to pack them around with us, right? So why don't we store them in the space that will be the blacksmith area?
Mhm.
Sure. So, in anticipation, you know, and they're still very much working on the initial thing. Malekith leads you to the location, you know, where he's going to set up shop, and has everything, you know, set up ready. They're not everything, but I mean, they're working on getting it set up. He says, you know, I've placed I've placed an area over here that has its own, you know, like sort of little pocket dimension, and so he can keep his materials and stuff in here and not have to worry about space. He was like, so you can put it in here if you'd like.
Thank you.
So you deposit the bricks. Now what?
Let's see. Now, looking at this current objectives tab, the numbering system that you have off to the left, right? Because I know what the difference is between my left and my right. Could you explain that to me, please? Because I'm dumb.
What's being explained to?
The numbering system on the current objectives. So,
Oh.
like in the new
Oh shit! I'm
catch-all.
muted. I'm muted. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
So the number and then backslash and then another number. That's
Yeah.
the month day.
Okay.
And I just have the extra, you know, like in parentheses or off to the right, it's that number just so I could make it. So these, how many days away in this middle column, like directly over it, just so they automatically change based on,
Oh, okay.
based on the day.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So, well, basically, that's everything that we can do for that at the moment. So then our next objective is to deal with the political power in Mac. And then the House of Champions contract is up in 3 days?
We have another one laid out with them already.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't we need to get the rest of the stuff though? For these
Yeah.
weapons?
We can work on that on the way.
Does anyone have any particular things that need to be done for the rest of the day? Could we stop a little short for put the long rest and put it to the next day? Or is there something else you want to get done today? You have a few hours of daylight left, so
Nothing immediately comes to mind.
Yeah, me either.
Same.
Yeah. Nothing off the top of my head.
see. So watch. The days will all change here in 1 second if you're still looking at the sheet.
All right.
Whoop.
Yay!
Here we have it. Political power should be consolidated by tomorrow. We have a general idea. I'll make sure I have a Nirvana map by next week. Is there any other questions, thoughts, comments that you guys have?
I got nothing.
Can't think of.
Yeah.
Oh, the only thing I do need to say is that I think it's 2 weeks. I got a message saying I had to go to the doctor for a checkup, and then there's a couple of other things. Basically, I've got an entire day of different doctor's checkups in 2 weeks. I think it's so I will almost certainly miss the session on the 16th.
That is a lot of doctor's checkups, Pete. Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got to do a standard checkup. Then my back keeps fucking going, so I've got to see a physio, and then I've got to see just the normal doctor about my asthma and other things. So, yeah, so it's almost all day.
Good luck and Godspeed.
Sorry?
Good luck and Godspeed.
Yeah.
Well, I'll catch you guys next week. If you need anything, let me know. If you have any questions, always just give me a holler. I think that's it.